Good evening, boys, said our dad when we entered Robbinsog a minute later. Hi, we all said. How was your time in the hot tub? Our dad asked. Fine, I said. I wasn't in the hot tub the entire time. Said Sam awkwardly. He mostly spent his time in the he mostly spent his time in the hot tub talking about things with me, said George, pointing at me. Okay, said my dad like it was literally the letters O and K of the alphabet. What's for dinner? Sam asked to keep up the conversation so we could cover things up. Spaghetti, my dad said. Okay, said Sam. With meatballs, George asked. Yes, boys, is something up? Were you trying to cover up something? My dad asked. No, I yelled, and then all three of us entered the room like lightning. The first thing I did when I entered was lay on my bed in my wet swimsuit and noticed that Sam was upset. Guess what, guys? Now Dad is going to totally suspect something, said Sam. Oh shit, he is right, I said. Sam then locked the doors. Now we need to take every security breach to stop our parents from finding out no matter what, I said to Sam and George in a scary tone. What do we do? George asked. Sam, I'm going to have to ask you to do me a favor, I asked with sorrow. What is it? Sam asked. I've been doubting it, but I need to ask you to call 3 people just to make sure they are not the return, I said. Who are they? Sam asked. Your aunts, I said. Fine, but not in here because of my loud voice, said Sam. Then go outside to do it, I said. Okay, but quick question for you. I thought you said that you think it wasn't them because they don't want you anything to do with you, Sam asked. That's what I think too, but I need to put a stop to this madness now. So if it is them, I need to tell them to stop. Oh, okay, said Sam. Also, George and I will be watching from the window, so when you dial a number and it goes, I need you to stick your thumb up, I ordered Sam. Sam then put on his cloak, and all 3 of us began to leave the room, and as George and I went to the window to look down at State Street below in the United States to watch him make the phone calls, when we got to our living room, our parents were there. Well, what are you up to? Mom asked. I have to make some phone calls. I need to go outside to make them, so that way I am not disturbing, said Sam. Okay, I'm going to spend a little time with your father. Please don't bother us, said my mom. My mom then went to her room, and Sam then left Robbinsog. Sweet. That means we can do the next part with us talking, I said to George quietly. George and I then went to the window and looked down at the people in the park on State Street below. There he is, said George, pointing down when Sam left our building when he was outside. I can tell where he is easily. He is dressed in orange, I said. We then saw George then dial a number, and he stuck his thumb up. Brilliant. He got through to one of them, I said to myself. Mostly, but to George a little bit. What do you think? Well, what do you think? George asked. I don't know. Which one do you think? I don't know. Probably Aunt Catherine because her name comes up first in the alphabet, which means he probably called her first because he saw her contact the soonest. Why don't you know? Because I never set an order. We then saw Sam hang up and then redial, following by another thumbs up. Sweet, too. Which one do you think is left? George asked. Now I was beginning to get a little bit frustrated. George, no offense, I don't know. And to be honest, I don't care because he is getting the job done. I I answered George with a little bit of frustration being brought onto me by annoyance, but that I was hinting that it was caused by him and my voice. Oh, I see, said George. Another hang up, another dial, another thumbs up. Perfect, he has now spoken to all three. Yay, said George. We then watched Sam re-enter our building, and a minute later he was back here in Robbinsog. Results, I asked. First of all, why did you make me call your Aunt Diane? She was still First of all, why did you make me call Aunt Diane? She was still at work in Seattle because you're 2 time zones behind us. She travels a lot for work. I suspected she would stop here and lay things for us here, I said. Well, either way, they all said no, in a very convincing way, said Sam. To a room, I said. We then all shuffled into our room. We don't know who the return is, I said. But we're gonna find out, said George. Yeah. When the time comes, how are we gonna break the news to Mom and Dad about this? That time may never come, I said. But Mom and Dad are always suspecting. That is why we are going to stand high guard. Because of that, I'm going to impose 2 new rules to tighten security, I said. What are they? 1, unless I or Mom and Dad say otherwise, we are now going only to one of 2 places after school. Here or Garfield Park. If I don't call or text where we are going, which will be most days, then come here, I said. Until? Sam asked. When we are in transit to or from school or loitering here, we must always when we are not in transit to or from school or loitering here, we must always travel in groups, I said. Okay, said George. You ride the train to school with Mom every day. She could at least protect you in transit because you're not imposing this rule in transit, said Sam. She has been going in extremely early, and I don't feel like riding with her in case a fight breaks out. Oh, I see, said Sam. We then will put a hand on top of each other to agree to these rules.